Well, hello.
Hello, folks. Good afternoon.
And
Huh?
huh?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Ivan Files.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of you it's the morning, and some of you are midnight.
That's
You
right.
know, you get a wide world of watching. It's some of my own fantasies, isn't it?
Hey, you know, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
right.
for sure. That's for sure.
What would I talk about today? Kelly is she's delayed a bit. She may be in later. Um, But she's doing some important business right now.
That's right. She's taking on the world's problems.
Yeah.
So we're going to start without her, kind of get this thing rolling,
Yeah.
and I'm sure she'll be popping in here shortly.
Yeah. What we're going to talk about is this right here. And I've had my eyes dilated today, so I can't see very well. But I wish you all very good attention and focus here. This is from a science magazine, and it's the editor's column, if you will, where she's writing about the Supreme Court, and she's saying that, what does it say here? It just says,
A Supreme Court Betrayal of Justice is the headline, and then the subtitle is Recent Rulings of the Supreme Court Undermine the Role of Evidence, Expertise, and Honesty in American Democracy.
yeah. Well, that attracted my attention big time, and I'll give you my opinion about it. Or maybe I won't. I don't know.
Well, what did you think of it?
What I thought of it was good, but she kind of flew off the edge of the table there a little bit. I thought
Yeah.
oh, guess who's coming in now? Yeah. um, what her thesis was that the Supreme Court made decisions without taking into consideration the evidence, particularly the scientifically based evidence, since this was a science magazine, to support whatever decision they came up with. And apparently there was a lot more in the article other than just this one about global warming, and what it was, it had to do with putting a cap on EPA kinds of stuff that the industry had to do, and so they didn't support that.
Wow.
And and the thing, funny part of this was that you folks who know what nitrous oxide is it's laughing gas. Well, some of the justices interpreted what the presenter said, which was nitrous oxide, which is causes stuff in the air, as nitrous oxide.
Oh, geez.
And so that was kind of a big boo-boo.
Sorry about that, gang.
And
We're rolling.
yeah. Yeah. Well, here's Kelly. Hey.
How long you been rolling?
Oh,
Just a couple.
Sorry,
yeah,
like
just
a
couple
while?
minutes. Yeah.
Just a
Hey,
couple
Kelly.
minutes.
How are you?
Good. What are we talking about? Politics?
No, we're not quite yet.
Yeah.
So essentially, Ivan was giving us a rundown of the article that he pulled, and essentially what's happening is it's saying the Supreme Court had a ruling that didn't follow scientific logic, is what it
Right.
feels like. Is
Yeah.
that fair?
The complaint was that they didn't understand the difference between nitrous oxide and nitric oxide.
Ew.
And
Nitrous oxide, isn't that what they give us at the dentist?
Yeah.
Hey.
And that they didn't ask for or reference expert judgment on these other things. And it talks about abortion
Roe v.
and
Wade.
all kinds of things in there that she was saying they just didn't pay any attention to science or the experts when they made their decision. And she says that's a betrayal of justice in this country, and it's a mark, it's a betrayal of democracy in a way. Well, I have a hit on that, and it's that it isn't, no scientists other than maybe Ben Franklin were on board to write the Constitution to start with. And these days, they don't, appoint scientists. Are there scientists on the Supreme Court?
No.
No. That they're left to refer to them if they want to, or if they feel the need to get more information or expert information, they can do that. But she's kind of blaming them for not getting the expert information.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty jarring article. I mean, the first paragraph, a sad but telling coda of the Supreme Court misrule came this summer when Ohio versus the EPA decision blocked Environmental Protection Agency limits on pollution from Midwestern states affecting the downwind neighbors. In 5 instances, Justice Neil Gorsuch's opinion
Gorsuch, yeah.
confused nitrogen oxide, a pollutant that contributes to ozone formation, with nitrous
Oxide,
oxide.
which puts you to sleep.
Yeah, nitrogen oxide and nitrous oxide, better known as laughing gas.
Yeah, nitrous oxide is the
So,
laughing gas.
I mean, you're on the money. Like, the repeat mistake 5-4 decision exemplifies the High Court not just indifferent to facts, but contemporaneous of others. I don't think that word was right. Contempt. Yeah, reading out loud is
Yeah.
fun. So in other words, they bungled it pretty bad. Like, they're talking about the wrong gas in terms of this decision.
Yeah, they're kind of making fun of it, sort of, you know.
Yeah.
Laughing gas, yeah.
It really, like, is kind of...
Put laughing gas downwind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the fact that they got this so wrong has to be an embarrassment to the justice system.
You know, I think part of I've always wondered why, and maybe it's a constitutional piece, I don't know, I need to do that research, but I've always wondered why Supreme Justices are appointed when we have to elect every single judge in our counties.
Oh,
And then a Supreme Court justice is appointed by a political party,
by the
Well,
president.
I mean...
by a president, which is a political party.
No, I mean, my argument would be we've elected clowns in the past.
Oh, fudge.
and like for us to be in charge of we the people, be in charge of like choosing the people that actually put law, like decide law, that could be a little bit scary too.
Yes.
No more scary than having a president put one in.
That's there's a valid point there.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a
you
valid
have one
point.
person or one party that chooses these justices, and then you get nipple nose there that, you know, mixes up the gases. That, you know, what it does is it makes you feel uncomfortable. You know, I mean,
I don't know if he would agree that Neil would not be happy with being called a nipple nose, I have to say.
well, then maybe get the gases right before you.
Call us, Neil.
Yeah,
call us,
us.
Neil.
Give us
Yeah.
a call, Neil. Anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, why is that? I've always wondered that.
Yeah.
Why, when we have to elect our sheriffs, we have to elect our judges, why does the country not elect our Supreme Court? And why are they on there for good?
That term limits need to be there, in my opinion.
That is a
for sure.
dangerous,
Sure.
dangerous, dangerous thing.
Well, I'll tell you what. The the election thing would be at the hest of, or the preponderance of voting for any, by a party for any particular judge. Well, you already have a president that's gonna set that up. Now, the other thing you mentioned there was the.
Isn't that supposed to be a bipartisan thing, though? Aren't judges supposed to not?
Okay,
vote
that's
politically?
the second thing. That's the second thing. You say, why aren't they voted in, and then have a term limit? That's back to the almost what Plato wrote in the Republic, where you have a justice who does not have to pay money, does not have to go out and campaign. That's the reason for the life thing on the Supreme Court.
Well, we're screwing it up, Dad.
And I agree with that, because I think, look how much time is invested by our legislators, Congress people, President, everybody, in trying to get the votes. About half their terms, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Well, that's not what we elect them for. We elect them for to take care of the people, the problems of the people, and the law.
Right. Then the answer to that would be, much like how I feel about presidents, the answer would be that is an 8-year term. That is a 10-year term, let's say. You give each justice 10 years.
But no,
We got some justices on there, Dad, that are 152 years old.
Give or take.
Give or take.
Give
50.
or take 50.
give or take 50 years, yeah, or more.
So I guess like when you had mentioned this article, and I admittedly have not read it, but when you mentioned this article, I thought we were going to have a very different discussion about like law versus politics, or science versus politics.
Yeah.
This article is essentially just them fumbling the ball.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they are writing laws and putting into effect laws that
They don't
with
write
miss.
laws.
You're right. They don't write the laws, but they are the judge. They are the judges.
Interpret it.
There we
Yeah.
go. But the fact that they completely miscategorized the chemical in question is like a huge miss.
red flag.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they did not bring in a professional, that a scientist of some type to like counsel them on this is a little bit baffling to me. Yeah.
I think so too.
Now, when I came into this conversation, I thought it was going to be more along the lines of, hey, the science says this, we did this. And I think that is not really captured in this article, but it's what I'm fearful of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we don't care about the science.
Yeah. Well, that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Right.
They are making decisions politically so that would benefit. It winds up benefiting corporations and things like that. For instance, the EPA.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a scientific thing. It's just a political thing that they say that they're doing. What I think about that in part is that it's a responsibility, I think, since there are no scientists on the Supreme Court, there never have been, that the presenters have the obligation to make clear when they're presenting this stuff to these lawyers who are not scientists, what the difference is, and what the concern is, and how it brings about the concern. And same with all the stuff they look at, like abortion, for instance. That's a tough one. But has the Supreme Court ever declared when a fetus is alive?
See, and
the
that
answer is
isn't,
no.
you can't say that is, I agree with you, you can't say though that is scientific, religious. That's that quandary, right? And that,
Well,
those two don't meet. The constant battle that happens with the Bible and other things is scientifically this can't be proven. You just have to have faith in. So then you try to bring those two entities together, and religion is always going to take over
Yeah.
because of the emotion that comes with it. But you know, getting back to the fact that these guys are appointed should scare our entire country. Should scare our entire country.
Yeah.
but they're the last resort. On law, they're the last resort.
It doesn't matter if they're
Not
the
the first
middle
resort.
resort.
That's true.
But if they're the last resort, that means that the battles have been happening.
Yeah,
And so now you're going to have somebody that was appointed interpret the law
politically, yes. Yeah.
with
Right.
political backing, though they're not supposed to, with political backing that will sway their interpretation, quite possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta just hope that they're not like using a political agenda to springboard them into the next position. And maybe
gosh,
there
I
is
hope-
maybe there is a benefit of them being on the older side because this is their last option to be
Yeah.
viable in any position. Right? I mean, the benefit of having like these individuals like make these decisions is they're normally very well versed in law. Right? I mean, this is in front of us
That's the
because
idea,
it came down to the end and they know the laws and how they affect people. So that is why we need educated people in this spot.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've got some in there that are late 50s, early 60s. They're going to be on there a long time.
Yeah.
Till they
And-
retire
Yeah, well, or die.
or die, yes.
You know, some of them won't give up the goat.
And depending on who's in office, they might hold on for a few
Right.
more years. Yeah.
So, you know, you've got, that's a real conundrum because for me, I was on the school board for too long. And in the beginning of the time that I was on the school board, I had all these fresh ideas and blah, 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 and I really wanted to make change and all that. Then you start finding that in order to get what you know is best, you maybe have to do something that you know isn't best to get the rest of your team
Yeah.
to agree with you. You can't tell me that's not happening there.
Oh, negotiation? Well.
And if it's reading the law, it should be non-emotional, non-political. Otherwise, why do we have this, the phrase, the letter of the law?
Yeah. Well,
But anybody can take any law and turn it
the,
for them or against them.
there's 9 people
Mm-hmm,
though. And when something comes out 5 to 4,
mm-hmm.
that means 5 of them agreed with the presentation and 4 of them didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Either disagreed, abstained, or did just went with it with the other 5. So what do you do about those 5 people?
Oh, I think if we are, this could be completely backwards, but these people are supposed to be interpreting the law.
Yeah.
So you've got 5 people that agree with something and 4 people that disagree with something, that shouldn't pass.
Yeah, isn't that interesting that
The law,
we
if it's
we
the law,
live by the law in this country, are supposed to live by the law in this country, and there's, at the highest court, there's disagreement.
Yeah, I mean, I would see this position specifically being at like the tail end of the cycle. And by that I mean like when you elect a politician, you're essentially electing a vision, right? My vision is to X, Y, and Z. So they're at the front of the herd, they're leading the charge. Whereas on the back end, you're mopping up like laws that have gray interpretation. So you would hope that they are making decisions in a way that's not forward-facing, well, like, kind of forward-facing, but you want to basically put it in black and white. If it's coming to the Supreme Court, you have a dicey decision that's going to be made that's going to have articles written about it, And the fact that they got some chemicals mixed up is just jarring to me.
Me
Like,
too.
It really makes me lose faith in our political system, if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
And somebody
quite
like
the article.
this magazine isn't gonna pull this out of their butt either.
Yeah.
You know, because they're well.
Yeah, I mean the only issue that I take with it is like in the second paragraph they kind of dive into a little bit of politics. Like they
Yeah.
call out
And it
a
goes
chief
on,
justice and talks about, their feelings or political backing on a matter. And you would hope that once you're in this position of power, you do stay nonpartisan. You don't take monies from companies, because you got to imagine that's partly where this came from, was them throwing money at it, them being a corporation of some kind.
Yeah, boy, they're not supposed to, yeah.
No, you're not supposed to.
And you'll never, that.
And
Yeah.
that may be the downfall of our society, is like money in politics, because money in politics has time and again proven to skew the motivations of those individuals, right?
Yeah.
And regretfully, it's not going anywhere. So yeah, a lot to think about.
We have a little dog waiting outside the party barn. I just got a text message. So would you
Should I
go
go
let our
let-
guest in? Yes,
let
we have a
the
little
guest-
black dog waiting outside. She heard we were talking about the justices and it's raining, and her daddy just sent me a text saying Pepper wants to know why she's not in the party barn. There you are. We're gonna have these little interruptions on occasion on the Ivan Files. That's what makes it interesting. Different guests show up. Welcome, Pepper.
Pepper, what's your thought?
Pepper would like to be that
Food.
a judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, there's more in that article. If you got the magazine,
Yeah.
which I'm
We should send that home to Shelby and let him read it. Yeah.
scientist, if you will, that there's other interesting things in that magazine, and so I'm not selling magazines, but I like that.
Do you have
Is
any
that Scientific America?
Yeah.
Scientific America.
Scientific
Subscribe today.
American.
The Ivan Files reads it.
Our
Yeah.
affiliate link is in the description
Our
below.
affiliate link.
Yeah,
But we are a nonpartisan
yeah.
podcast
Nonpartisan podcast.
that thinks
We supposed to
Our
be-
government.
Yeah,
is losing their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I'm skimming this article a little bit, and there's the case mentioned, Kennedy versus Bremerton School District, which
Yeah.
is like kind of in our neck of the woods. So
yeah,
here we go. Yeah, right in our own backyard.
yes,
So
yeah, it's all over.
And what
Yeah,
needs
big
to
task.
really happen is the UFOs just need to come down, give us all a big ass spanking.
I mean, hey, have
And
you guys
this
been
would bring
reading-
us-
Have you guys seen about the second moon?
No.
There's like a new asteroid that's on its way to the solar system, and it's going to make a few loops around the Earth and then get slingshotted back into space. But it's a pretty big asteroid that's going to be
Oh, really?
It's
Our
a
neck
big
of the woods.
ass droid.
Droid. Yeah.
Oh, I
for
hope
sure.
it's got a good aim.
Me too. I hope
Yeah.
they didn't miscalculate it.
Yeah,
I wonder
I don't
who's
know.
riding it.
I saw some conspiracy theory post about, well, scientifically you can see that it changed directions on its own. And I'm like, is this it? Are they coming? Are they on their way? Is this a manned asteroid?
They're
Learn
already
more next
here.
week.
They're already here. They live in the moon. Just watch the movie.
you wanna see one?
Yeah, we got one sitting right here.
Reptile man. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm sorry I was late, but
Yeah.
good job on the podcast, Dad. And
Yeah, well done.
I think next week, what do you
Right
want
on
to talk
in.
about?
Yeah, right in if you got some opinion about that.
Yes,
we'd
Yeah.
be
it would
glad
be
to-
the
Read
Ivan
it,
1933 at gmail.com, right?
Yeah,
Send him an email, please.
yeah.
Someone, send him an email.
Yeah, please.
91 years old, going blind, smart as heck.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
What are you talking about next week?
I don't know. What would you like to talk about? How
Well,
about-
Shelby and I are going to do a quick podcast.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're going to do it today or, but on politics in the ballroom.
yeah,
in
so-
the ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
When do you talk about politics? When do you not? How do you dance that dance?
Good luck. Yeah.
We can talk about that. Yeah,
So join us next week on the Ivan Files. Pepper will be here too.
yeah.
For sure.
And pepper.
And Pepper.
And Pepper.
Yeah,
All right?
yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Bye. She was just getting wet out there.
Yeah.